A V10 engine is a V engine with 10 cylinders in 2 banks of 5. It is longer than a V8 engine but shorter than a straight 6 engine, a V12 engine. Mechanics. The V10 is essentially the result of mating two even-firing straight 5 engines together. The straight 5 engine shows first and second order rocking motion. Here it should be assumed that the crankshaft with low second order vibration is used and the first order is balanced by a balance shaft. By mating the straight 5 banks at 90 degrees and using 5 throws, the balance shafts balance each other and become null. The firing sequence is odd. Using an 18 degrees split journal crankshaft, the firing order can be made even, and the two balanced shafts do not balance each other completely, but are combined into a single very small balance shaft. Using a 5-throw crankshaft and 72 degrees bank angle, the firing order can be made even, and the two balanced shafts do not balance each other completely, but are combined into a single small balance shaft. A 36 degrees bank angle and a 108 degrees flying arm crankshaft would allow even firing without a balance shaft and smaller counterweights. It would be impractical. The V10 configuration is not an inherently balanced design like a straight 6, V12 boxer engine, or V8, and does still have a small second-order rocking motion, which can only be compensated by balance shafts. Road cars. Until recently, the V10 configuration was not a common configuration for road cars. A V12 is only slightly more complicated and runs more smoothly, while a V8 is less complex and more economical. For the Lexus LFA, the engineers selected a V10 engine over an equivalent displacement V8 because they could not get the V8 to rev as high as the V10, and over a V12 for its lower reciprocating mass, allowing for more rapid engine response. For Audi in their Audi R8 5.2 FSI Quattro, the V10 was a compromise between a V12, which would be too long and suffer more internal friction due to extra cylinders and valves, and a V8 which would be more compact but have larger, heavier pistons and have a lower redline. The Dodge V10 engine saw its first production use in substantially revised form in the Dodge Viper sports car, while the truck version of the engine was used starting with the second-generation Dodge Ram. It discontinued in that application after 2003. However, 2003 also saw the introduction of the Dodge Ram SRT10, a performance model meant to rival Ford's successful V8-powered F-150 VT Lightning. The Viper engine has been tweaked through the years, and for the fifth-generation Viper produces 640 horsepower in a standard state of tune from its 8.4-liter displacement. The previous generation engine is used by Bristol in tune form in the two-seat fighter coupe, where it can produce upward of 630 horsepower. Ford also developed a heavy-duty V10 version of the Triton engine to replace the 460 big block in truck applications. It was introduced in the E-Series Econoline full-size van. The F-Series Super Duty and Excursion SUV furthered the engine's popularity. The Triton 6.8 V10 is still in production today. European markets were slower to adopt the V10 configuration. However, high-revving V10 power plants were incorporated into supercars from Lamborghini and Porsche. BMW and Audi later unveiled 10-cylinder versions of the mid-range saloons. Audi here profited from the Lamborghini ownership, which allowed them to source the Gallardo's V10 for their own cars. Volkswagen also developed a turbodiesel V10. The Volkswagen Phaeton was the first production sedan to have a V10. Examples: a list of post-war 510 engined production cars. Racing. The most widespread use of the V10 has been in Formula One racing. Alfa Romeo made the first modern Formula One V10 in 1986, although it was never used in a Formula One car. Later the configuration was introduced by Honda and Renault before the 1989 season. The introduction of the 3.5-litre rule after turbos were outlawed following 1988 made the V10 seem the best compromise between the lower weight of a V8 and the higher power of a V12. V10 engines became commonplace after the reduction from 3.5 to 3 litres in 1995, and were used exclusively by teams from 1998 to 2005. Renault had a more flat 110 degrees angle in 2002 and 2003, but reverted to a more conventional 72 degrees following the change in rules which dictated that an engine must last 2 race weekends. In a further change to the rules, V10s were banned for the 2006 season onwards in favor of 2.4-litre V8s. However, a concession was made in that season for teams to use significantly rev-limited V10s, Scuderia Toro Rosso being the only team to use this option. The Audi R15 LMP1 uses a TDI V10 diesel engine which made its debut in 2009, 12 hours of Sebring. This car completed the most laps ever in Le Mans 24 history. There are also cars with V10 engines in sports car racing, usually with Judd power plants with 4 or 5-litre engines, made available for customers. Although the first V10 was seen in the works Peugeot 905 in the 2 final races of the 1990 World Sports Car Championship season, it was also seen in the works Toyota TS010 that appeared at the end of 1991.